Hello, I'm Danae Briggs with Leadership by Design. As a career coach, I provide leadership training for emerging women of color in new leadership positions. Today, my topic is perfectionism versus excellence. And I'm going to do this, I think, in two very power-packed segments, although there is so much information around the topic perfectionism that you can extract a lot of subtopics, but I'm going to keep it to two segments. And I'm doing this today for women that are emerging leaders because I know that you can go into your leadership role believing, feeling, convinced that you have to be on 24/7 and you have to be perfect on every front. Well, it's not true. So we're going to talk about perfectionism versus excellence. And there's a question that says, is perfectionism a good thing? Well, you have some professionals that will argue with you and say, yes, absolutely. While there are others that, based on research, will tell you no, because there is a link between perfectionism and burnout. So who's right? Well, I think I'm right because I was not one of the individuals that was a part of the research at York St. John University in England when they conducted the study. But what I know is that trying to be perfect all the time will burn you completely, totally out. One of the things for me, the biggest challenge was not the perfectionism in and of itself, but it was trying to maintain that on a regular, consistent, daily basis. It just can't happen. So ladies, don't set yourself up for failure. Don't do it. What I do believe is that there is a difference between one striving for excellence versus perfectionism. Excellence and perfectionism are two different things. So let's look at the definition for perfectionism. In psychology, it's a personality trait characterized by a person striving for flawlessness and setting high performance standards, accompanied by critical self-evaluations and concerns regarding others' evaluations. That is very stressful to me, that definition. When we look at excellence, it's a very simple definition that says the quality of being outstanding or extremely good. I can get my head around being outstanding or extremely good. It's stressful for me trying to be flawless and to be self-critical. So, when I think about my early leadership ventures, perfectionism, what it does, it can spin your life completely, totally out of control. And that's what happened for me because I was on literally 24/7, mainly Monday through Saturday. And then on Sunday, when I tried to find a breather, I was already thinking about what Monday was going to look like. Not a good way to live. My life was out of control because when I would come home after a day of stress, it was hard for me to decompress because I was thinking about, wow, I should have got a higher fee at that client visit. Or that email that I sent, did it really convey the message that I wanted? So I'm thinking about all these bits and pieces that happen during the day, even when I'm home. So when I get home, my life is on autopilot. You know, you get something to eat, you maybe catch a movie, talk to a friend, family member, and then you're asleep to get up for the next morning. So what I found out for me with the burnout was that when I ate, usually if I ate when I was at the office, it was in a rush. Or if I was driving to a client visit, it was on the way there or on the way back, right? So I'm not really sitting down eating properly. Let's not even talk about sleeping. You know, Ariana Huffington, she left the Huffington Post because at one point she fell asleep, collapsed on her desk. And she is now what they call the sleep evangelist, because she says, if you want to succeed, get more sleep. She is right. Sleeping is important because what it does, it helps to renew us, to regenerate us, and when we wake up, we're supposed to feel refreshed and start a new day, right? So when our life is out of control, we also don't spend time with family like we really want to, quality time with friends, and oh, that's right, we don't spend time with ourselves. One of the most important people. To spend time with yourself is so valuable. It is so necessary. And then when we talk about, exercise, we don't exercise the way we would desire to exercise. So it really throws your whole life out of balance, and you feel it. And because our human body was not designed to be on 100 every day of the week or 6 days of the week. It really is not designed for that. And we try to push it to that because we want to be in peak performance. You can't do peak performance all the time. Here's the other part of it, perfectionism. Yeah, it will contribute to very serious health problems, including depression, anxiety, eating disorders, fatigue, and of course the list goes on. So for me, when I say that my life was spinning out of control, I also, here's the other side of that coin, when I would have a success. So let's say I closed a deal for a very high fee. The project went great. They accepted the contract, they decided to use our services. I didn't really have time to celebrate because I knew there was another project that I needed to do. There was another client that I needed to close. So it just kept going as this continual loop. But what I did to myself, because I didn't know. You can't do what you don't know. I continued after each success. I would raise the bar higher. How crazy is that? So I'd raise the bar higher, which meant I worked harder than I did on the last project. I worked harder than I did on the last client. And so at that point, I came to a point, ladies, and this is where I knew I had to make a change. I did not know Danae. I was like, who are you? I lost all of me. You're talking about giving yourself away. I gave all of me away because I was in this frame of mind, in this belief that I needed to be perfect all the time. And I want to shed some light on, for me, this is for me. I don't know if it resonates for you, but this is for me. The basis, the foundation of me striving so hard for perfectionism at that level was because I did not know myself. My self-esteem was not in the proper place. My self-confidence certainly was not in the proper place. Because when I looked back on that time in my career, there was so much about me that I didn't know. So my work, all of my striving for perfectionism was to please others. And we'll talk about that in the next segment, in people pleasing, because that's a really big thing and it drains so much of you. People pleasing shows up in our profession, it shows up in our family, it shows up in our friends, it shows up in our relationships. And it's something that we don't necessarily look at. We don't see it in the detrimental way that it is. And there's a balance in there. There's a harmonious balance for you. But when we are people pleasing solely because we don't know who we are, that's not healthy for us. So perfectionism, it can spin your life out of control. It can also be a defense mechanism. And at the point when I realized that this was really too much for me, I and Ariana Huffington did the same thing. I changed careers. I'm not telling you to change your career, but what I am saying, if you're in a career that you like, but you are in this continual rat race of just running all the time, and you're striving for perfection, step back, take a day and step back and ask yourself, what do you really want? And then start putting those pieces of your life in harmony. In closing this segment, I want to read a quote by Dr. Maya Angelou. And I quote, "Do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better." That's what I call striving for excellence. In the next segment, we'll talk about people pleasing, which is a really big thing for many of us. We'll talk about that. So in the meantime, step back, reflect on your life, and just look at those areas where you can relax. Look at those areas where you don't have to put the stress of perfectionism on yourself, but you can reach for excellence. Enjoy.